Hey guys, this is Jason along with my co-host Rich, and we're in Victory Brand Studios. And on today's episode, Tweak is back.
It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower.
This is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
Come in 0.5.
All right, lead it off.
Lead it off. Okay. Well, before I get too deep off into this story, I want to touch on something real quick. And it's something that happened while we were on break. Captain Lambchop had told you that he had gotten a hold of some information, a Crime Stoppers tip from somebody. And it was in reference to the podcast. And they said in there that we were saying people's names and we were doing things and ruining lives and such. And
yeah, it says, or I'll tell you, it says that we talk about residents and police calls, and that we use everything from racist slurs and totally trashing people's names, making a mockery of just, it is not professional.
now on that, I'm sure everybody that's listened through season 1 knows that we've never really mentioned anything that has to do about race. Like I don't care about any of that. That doesn't matter. But I mean, just so everybody's aware, most of the stuff that we talk about is a matter of public record. Even on the medical calls, there may be something like the tentacle episode. Yeah. We didn't give that gentleman's name, so that's not a violation of HIPAA in any way. It's just describing the situation that he was in. I don't even know who that guy is, honestly. It was just something that came through that we thought would make good content.
Yeah,
but,
and a lot of times, like when we talk about stories, like Rich has no idea who I'm talking about, doesn't know where I was at, doesn't know anything about it. I just mention it and I don't talk about names or anything.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the same way. And I can understand, like if you're in a small area, it's not difficult to put 2 and 2 together. But I mean, at the same time, if I'm discussing a crime or some goofy crap that's happened and, the person's been arrested on it, once they've been arrested, we have to produce what's called an affidavit, and that becomes a matter of public record with the court. So anybody could go down and get a copy of my affidavit if they had the case number and whatnot or the person's name. They could get any and all of that because it's public record.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're not doing it to trash anybody, but at the same time, I mean, if you are goofy enough to do the stuff that we're talking about, then I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're gonna find out either way. I mean,
yeah.
We're just not telling people all the details. And like if I wanted to, I could go in there, fill out, open records request, pay whatever. They'll give me a copy of the report, and then I could read that verbatim. Everything that's on there, the names, if it's redacted or not, I could read the address, the phone numbers. I could say everything, but we don't do that kind of stuff.
And that is, I would give that, as some form of respect to the person that we've arrested. We're not 100% calling them out on it, but I mean, at the same time, it is good content. So
yeah,
we're not doing this to trash anybody. We're not doing this to mess with anybody's reputation or anything like that. But like, these are things that have actually happened. That's where these stories come from. These are calls that we have actually ran. So we're not just making stuff up on people.
Yeah. And the day that tip or whatever came out, I should have known something was up because I looked at our numbers and our stats. Well, our stats had gone up during those days. And the people that had listened and all that, and they go, you guys aren't doing anything wrong. Matter of fact, that shit's funny.
No. So,
and they ask, can we get on there sometimes? And, and it's like, yeah, sure. If you want to get on here, come on down. And, but they're like, you guys aren't doing anything wrong. You're not being, rude. And it's not unprofessional for you to talk about or recount an incident that you were involved in. I mean, you're not doing anything wrong.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I know. That's why we do it this way. But they were like, everybody's like, yeah, keep it up, man. It's freaking great.
And just as a, like an added thing, there are some things that, that we're working or have worked that, the court system, unfortunately, moves very, very slowly. So, I mean, there's stuff that has happened that is like funny and content worthy that we can't even talk about right now because it's still apt to go to court. You know what I'm saying? It's going to go to trial or something like that. So there's things that have happened that we don't even discuss.
And then like,
so
these episodes that we record too, sometimes we'll record episodes and then we talk about it later and we don't even post them.
Yeah.
Because we're like, man, yeah, but I think that might be too much or, you know, whatever it may be. And we don't put them out.
Right. And that's because we're trying to maintain professionalism for ourselves and our agencies and
any
involved.
Potential victim.
Right.
Now, if it's the suspect, yeah, no, if you're going to, what do they say, do stupid shit, win stupid prizes.
Exactly.
This is part of your stupid prize.
Exactly. So with all that being out there, hopefully the person that, you know, felt that way is listening, and now maybe we've cleared all that up. And I mean, feel free to contact us on any of our social medias if you have any more questions, and we'd be happy to answer them. But
yeah,
now that we've got that,
well, and then like another thing, if like I think we posted a picture or something one time, and somebody was upset because like part of their home was on there or something like that. Well, being respectful, we took it down, but in that instance and situation, you don't have to have permission of that, because in the area, like in your front yard, a normal person knows that you have no sense or entitlement or whatever to privacy in something that's viewable from the roadway. That's why whenever newscasters do their stories from the street and it shows the house or whatever, they don't have to get permission because it's an open view of the public. Anybody can see this.
And seeing in that, like I understand on that one. And even in that picture was actually wider, and I had cropped it down to take the house numbers out to where all you could see was just the little skunk or whatever that we were talking about on that episode. But I mean, I understand they were upset. So we went ahead and took it down. So, but I mean, we do our best to try to, you know, be respectful.
And then the funny part about that is I think the person complained on the picture about it and all this. Well, now they know whose it is. And I mean, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Like kind of like when Google drives down the road with their stupid little car with the thing on the top that has the cameras and it has the houses and stuff, everything, there's nothing you can do about that. So if you're outside in your front yard running around naked and that car drives by and gets pictures of you, there's nothing you can do. You can't stop them from putting it out. There's nothing you can do about it.
So, speaking of that, I saw a guy one time, a thing on it, and the guy was watching somehow why people watch the planes and their patterns and where they fly and all that. But anyway, he noticed this one and it's doing like this, not a zigzag, but like a squiggle, just back and forth. And by the numbers that are on the website, you can tell what plane it is, but it was a Google plane flying overhead to get overhead pictures for Google Maps. So this guy is watching, and he happened to time it just so perfectly. He ran out in his backyard and he straight starfished it in his backyard. And Mans is on Google Maps, just straight in a star in his backyard. So that was epic. But yeah. So like I said, we're not trying to offend anybody, but I mean, some of the stuff is just too. It's just too good to not.
Yeah.
If we got to hear about it, and there's some things like if we see it, like if I had to personally see that, then believe me, as many people as possible should have that picture in their mind's eye.
Yeah.
Because I had to see it. And you'll never, some things I could never explain in great enough detail that have scarred me.
Yeah.
But with that being said, our man Tweak
is at it again.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you got like 2 or 3 of his stories.
Oh man, this one's the most recent. I don't even remember if I wouldn't say it's the most recent, but it's fairly recent. This happened while we were over the break. But I had gotten word, so there was some people that happened to be running around and associating or whatever, and I don't know. Somebody got mad at somebody, and they ended up saying that he had come in with this. Why this sign? I don't know, because it was. All it said was roundabout ahead. And like, it's not a stop sign. It's not a yield sign. It's not even a cool sign. It's just like, you know, this 5-foot sign that says roundabout. But anyway, they had words or something had happened. I don't know if they came in and they were like, yeah, he came in with that the other day and it's over there and I've seen it and here's pictures and all this other crap. And so I contact the city that's closest to us that has a roundabout. And they said, well, yeah, actually, we did have that come up missing. And I said, okay, can I get a copy of that report? So they send that to me, and I'm like, okay, well, it's officially stolen now. So I start figuring out how I'm going to get this. So there's two ways that you can go about that. You can get a search warrant for stolen property when you go through the district court, do all your paperwork and such. And then district judges sign off on it, and then you can go over there, knock, and go in and do your thing. Or you have a consent to search, which you tell them why you're there and what you need, and owner of the house or whatever can give you consent to go in, for those of you that don't know how that works. So I have both of these. Well, I did up the search warrant just in case. And on this day, Renix was doing something. I think he was at training, and Yoshi was asleep because he works nights. And the guys at county were all tied up. So I'm like, man, how am I going to do this? So it's getting on late in the day, and it was probably around 4 o'clock. And I'm like, man, I really need to go over here and try to recover this. And so our water crew was walking through, and I was like, hey, can y'all do me a favor? And they were like, yeah. I said, okay, go out there and get in that white one, or white unit, and just follow me. Just follow me. And when we get to where we're going, just sit there with the windows up. Don't roll them down. Don't nothing. Just chill. And they're like, okay. And so we go over there, and I knock on the door, and I explain why I'm there. And I'm like, yeah, I've got pictures, and it's supposed to be in this area. And, you know, I have a search warrant, and these officers over here have a copy of it. And so we can sign this consent to search, and I can go in and get what I need to get, or I can go ahead and send these officers to go get it signed by a judge, and we're all going to have to wait outside. Nobody can go in. It was friggin' hot that day too. It was a scorcher. And, listen to me sound like, what is that? Bob Eubanks or whatever. It was a scorcher. But anyway, yeah, it was pretty hot. And so, they get to look, and they're like, what is it? And I tell them, and they're like, oh, you mean that? And they swung the door wide, and it's just chilling, like right there in the living room. And I was like, yeah, that'd be it. That's what I'm looking for. And so they go through, and they sign paperwork and stuff. And they're like, yeah, go ahead, get it, grab it, go. You know, you're fine. And so I look over at the car, and I wave at them, and they roll the window down. And that's when the people on the porch realized that it wasn't a cop in that other car. It was our water crew that was sitting there waiting while I was freaking trying to get in there and get that sign. But ended up working out. Ended up getting my sign. And
then you filed a warrant on Tweak?
No, actually, he got hooked up.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he got hooked up that day.
Oh, I thought he wasn't there.
He wasn't there at the time, but he showed back up. And once he got home and realized that was gone, there was another disturbance at the house.
Oh, okay.
And we ended up going over there, and he already knew he was going. Right. Actually, I got down there.
You're fixing to hear some.
Uh-oh. Well, he had gone, and they dispatch paged about the disturbance at that address. Well, our major was running around, and so he starts running code 3 to it. And I start getting my stuff back on because it was after my shift, and because I'm, looking for him anyway. And so we go hauling over there. Well, we thought he was outside. He wasn't outside. So I was at the front, and Major was at the back, and I hear him yell. And so I start moving to the back, and you can hear him yelling like he's coming around the front. So now I'm like, crap, well, I'm in the backyard, and he's in the front yard. And the next thing I know, here comes Tweak around this out shed building. And this fool had every bit of a friggin' 2-foot machete, like in his hand out. And I was like, I will knock the shit out of you. Drop it. And he just looked, and he was like, he had this look of, ugh, not again. And he dropped it, but yeah.
Not again. I don't want to go to jail again.
He was not happy with me. Anytime he sees me, he freaking, but he's always into something, dude.
Well, like you said earlier, stop doing stupid shit and it won't happen to you.
Yes, mind your business. Don't touch things that aren't yours.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees, Capitol Hill veterans, and political advocates shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, you've got another story that told me about, like partially, about a witness that couldn't show up or didn't show up for court.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
So we had another thing where Tweak couldn't keep his hands to himself, and I think I've talked about it. It was a Coke machine deal. So anyway, we had court for that, and the guy that owned the property, he'd gotten subpoenaed, but he was sick with COVID and wasn't able to show up. So we all show up. Me and Renix are there, and like, I was thinking this is a lock, but I didn't realize the dude didn't show up. Well, the door opens, and here comes freaking Tweak, just grinning ear to ear, looks me dead in the eyes, and goes, "They dropped it." I was like, "Oh, it's fucking on, dude." Yeah. Okay. All right. They dropped it. Okay. All right then. Well,
yeah. And he was like proud of himself.
Oh yeah, dude, strutting. Yeah. He was rubbing it in. And I was like, "Oh, you bastard. Here we go." And anyway, he ended up leaving, and I got to talking, and that's when
sorry, man, but this reminded me of Tweak.
Exactly. So he's freaking running around gloating, and he ends up leaving. And I get to talking to the district attorney, and this when she explains that the guy that owned the property had COVID and he wasn't able to show, so they had dismissed it, and she was going to refile on it. And I was like, "No kidding." And she goes, "Yep." I was like, "Well, that'll work just fine." And she goes, "Why? What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, because he was out here grinning from ear to ear, smiling, rubbing it in that it got dropped." She's like, "Oh, he ain't going to be smiling for long." As soon as that thing was signed, she faxed me over a hard copy. And about that time, there was like two. He had one for us. He had another one out of another agency just north of us, and he had that one. So I had 3.
Yeah.
I went and knocked on the door, dude. And it was that instant. "What's up, man?" And so I'm explaining, I'm like, "Yeah, so I've got these, man. We got to go. We got to take a ride." "Oh, no. That's done. They dropped." Nope. You see what happened was.
Be like, "You're right, man. It's done. That other case is over with. It's done.
But this is a new one." Yeah. "No, man. What's that mean?" I'm like, I don't know what it means. All I know is that I have a warrant. So we're going to go. "Man, are you kidding me?" "No, actually, I'm not." "Man, I just got home." Like, well, looks like you're going to an Airbnb.
Yeah, it's like, I'm glad he didn't get too settled in because we got to go.
Yeah, he was mad. Oh, he was pissed. But ended up hooking him up on that, dude. And the whole way there, I think Renix transported him the whole way there, dude. God, all he did was bitch. He was mad.
And I still don't understand it. He brings this crap on himself. So what does he have to gripe about? I mean, yeah, he's probably pissed at himself.
I mean, he should be. He keeps, I don't know, man. He acts like he wants to do good, but then he turns around and gets into crap. And
well, and then that time we talked about how he had him a job and then ruined that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, when you go tell your coworker she's built like a brick shit house the first day you're on the job, that's probably not going to go over very well.
And then the second day you're getting called into HR.
Don't know why.
I still laughed.
Did you say this? Well, yeah. I mean, she is.
Yeah, because I went over there and he was pulling that raccoon shit where he kept pulling stuff out of his pockets.
Dude, for like 20 minutes. Yeah. Crap, just everywhere out of his. And he was lining it up. Like everything coming out of his. He had like Matchbox cars. He had rocks, not crack rocks. I think there may have been. Hell, I don't know.
No.
Lighters and springs. And
yeah, I remember he saw that spring on the ground and was like, "What's that?"
Yeah, had to have it.
And it was weird because he and saw it and he was like infatuated with it. And he's like, "What is that?" And he goes over there and has to pick it up and he's looking at it and he's holding. I'm like, "What in the hell is wrong with you?"
I can use that for something.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
No, I'm marking out. If you guys heard that one previous episode about me saying something about our wives.
Oh. I don't know.
So no more Tweak stuff. I know Tweak's probably going to be going back to big boy jail for a while.
Possibly. But again, this is all circumstances that he's gotten himself into.
Yeah. And we really can't talk about that because this is new. And
yeah, it's all new stuff. So we can't bring it up. But boy, when we can.
You know what was funny? you talked about that complaint or whatever. The day that complaint came in was just so happened to be like a day you had interacted with him.
Oh yeah, Renix. We'd gotten a call on some. It was a disturbance. And
Yeah.
he just for whatever reason, it's beyond me, happened to be in the freaking area, and he drove past rubbernecking, and I was like, "Yo, Renix, that's Tweak," and he goes, "Oh, it is." I said, "I bet you his tag's dead." I bet it is too. I was like, "Shoo, go find it, go see." And so he ended up getting him on that. So yeah, we kind of attributed it to maybe it was that, like maybe he was mad at us. I don't know.
No, there's no telling. That guy, and like I was saying a while ago, he continues to do the same thing. And doesn't that meet the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's finally one of those times where you guys have worked him and hooked him enough that it's finally stacking up on him where you won't have to deal with him anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, and you know this, man, it's like a hydra. You cut one head off and two more grow back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like your focus shifts from this to this, and that's been kind of an ongoing deal. And it wouldn't, I would say for the most part, if he could just not touch things that aren't his, he could probably like coexist. I mean,
be a functioning member of society.
I don't know about functioning, but I know that
he'd be a member.
He'd be a member at least, I mean, he could. I don't think they'd give that fool a library card, but.
Oh, and this is off topic. This is off tweak. Has a chef come up with any more recipes?
Man, no. I had done that live, and what was that day? He was making like buffalo chicken wings. But now he's got a whole setup. He's got a microwave.
He's got a damn kitchen over there.
Yeah, he's got a microwave. He's got like a hot plate, like a 2-burner hot plate thing.
Yeah.
And he's got his pan and his spatulas and everything else. He's got kitchen knives. I mean, he's got the setup. There's a refrigerator and he's got an air fryer.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's set up over there, but I haven't seen anything. He's not made. Oh, he made oh, wait. The last thing he made was like some tuna fish sandwiches or something.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Got to be tuna in oil.
Yeah.
Can't be tuna in water. And I'm like, bro.
You peasants.
Yeah, you peasants.
Yeah, and he put some recipe or whatever for a tuna salad sandwich.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he really is ate up with this cooking stuff. He likes it. I mean, I love the shit out of cooking too, and I saw how he was doing it and everything, and I'm like, that's not how I do it, but I'm gonna have to try it one day because I guess I'm a peasant because I get the tuna in water, and he gets the one with the oil.
See, that's all I mess with. But I mean, I can't say that you don't know what you're talking about because we were talking about sloppy joes that one time, and you're like, man, you got to hit it with some spicy mustard.
Oh,
game changer.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
And the only reason I knew that was somebody I know was eating a sloppy joe, and they put that spicy brown mustard or whatever on it, and I was like, oh, what the hell are you doing? It's like, you got to try it.
Nope. That's what I thought.
So I tried it, and then I was like, oh, holy shit, I've been missing out all these years.
That night, she made it, and I went and grabbed it, and she's looking at me like, what are you doing? I was like, he said, try it. She's like, do you do everything your friends tell you to do? Shut up.
I'll try anything once.
Twice if I like it.
Twice, yeah.
We got to throw that out there because it is season 2. We still don't kink shame.
Oh, yeah.
Code 0.5.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me, like that YouTube channel that I have, hadn't recorded nothing on that. I went into my bedroom. Tasha's getting pissed at me, but I've got like 6 or 8 boxes of products of shit that people have been sending to me saying, hey, when you want you to do this and that. And I'm like, oh, so I got to get on top of that. And I've been doing some cooking stuff on that. I think I even put out like a little, that TikTok video of me making smash burgers and getting too excited about them when I flipped them. But anyway, anything else on Tweak?
Not a lot, man. No, nothing. Like I said, there's some stuff, but it's all new stuff. So
Yeah.
We got to wait for a little bit on it.
That'll be something we can say for the next later episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I promised everyone in the last episode or whatever, we kind of throw these in out of order, but I had some more stories on Bubba, the beef jerky Bush Light guy, but we'll save that one for another episode.
Need you a porch built. He's the man to call.
That's right. He sent me a picture one time and he was holding like a package of beef jerky and then there was a Bush Light in the background. And I'm like, what are you working on? But anyway, we're going to get out of here, you guys. Thanks for listening to season 2.
Later.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.